Okay, so it's time to see if I can finish off the Snowy Range Mountain mosaic here. Now, one thing you may notice here, I made some changes here in the sky. I decided to add an extra color up here and made a few other minor modifications, which I'll show that when I'm finished. But the very last thing we need to do here is put in the trees. So everything is in place here, all the rocks, all the snow, all the sky, and just need trees. So I've got my laptop here, and I've got the calculated grid here, and then I have the real picture. Now, almost all of this is going to be green. It's going to be the dark green. Now, it's actually, it looks more black in this picture because there's such a high contrast here. But I'm going to make it green. Now, the only exceptions, there are maybe a few places where it might be a little lighter. I might use some regular green instead of the dark green. And there are a few places where I am going to put a black shadow in just to kind of enhance things and to kind of depict the fact that there is a shadow there. But in general, this is just going to be putting in a lot of dark green pieces. So, kind of here in the middle, I'm just going to kind of start that, and I'll do the rest of it off camera. Now, I have made adjustments relative to the what the actual grid is. And one thing I got to keep in mind here is that this is actually kind of over here. So I'm going to work in this little area here and then continue on. I've got a large area here where there's nothing to put in, where it's all snow and rock, and I've got more tree areas off to the right and then off to the left. So as an example, this area right here, okay, there's a tree, so 3 studs high, and then a shadow. So I'm going to make that a shadow, and then for the tree here, and I don't really have many 1x3s, so I'm going to go ahead and use a 1x1 and a 1x2. Now down here, I actually have, that's actually made of 2 trees, so here I will make all of that green. Now this area in here, this again is going to pretty much be all tree. So again, I'm not going to get too complicated with this. Of course, I've got a lot of these 3 highs, which kind of a bummer, but that's how it works out sometimes. So I'm going to I'll put in a larger piece there, and let's see. That's gonna. I'll go ahead and do this, and I'll just put in some more 2s. Oops, that could be 1x4. Now, I think what I will do is this, and I'm going to put in a regular green. Or bright green. Okay, so that, maybe I'll kind of highlight that a little bit. Now this area here, I think that's still going to probably make most of this green. The one area where there's a little bit of a shadow is kind of right below, right kind of in here. And so I think I'm going to make that a little bit of a shadow. Okay. Okay, so that's that tree area. Now, one of the things I'm seeing is that this is, this is not going to be quite as photorealistic as one might hope. So that's the other thing here. That was the other thing that kind of brought me to the conclusion to change the sky here, is that this is a little more impressionistic than maybe I originally had planned. Okay, so filling that in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and fill in off here to the left, work on that, and then I think I'll come back and show a little bit here off to the right. Okay, so not much left here. I've put a couple of these regular green pieces in here to highlight a little bit, to kind of break things up. I've got a little bit of shadow stuff in here, and I think most of the rest of this now is going to be regular dark green here, but unless I see some other places, maybe a couple other shadow places. So, and the only other thing is I'm trying to be careful here, because I still have a decent number of the 1x1s, but I don't want to overuse those, because I may need them for something else. Okay, let's do this. Again, I want to make sure I have pieces across the seam here between the base plates. That'll be okay. I have a lot of these 1x2s. Let's see. Okay. Okay, now I've only got room for one more of those. Yeah, actually I may not use that, because I think I can maybe do a little better here without using a lot of 1x1s there. Okay, there we go. There we go. That is the last piece. Okay, so let's do the all-important placing of the sig tile. And here we go. Here's the entire mosaic. Back again. I think that looks okay. One thing, the light gray for the snow might be a little bit too dark. Not really sure how to get around that. But I think overall it looks pretty decent. And that'll also depend on just how the light is shining on it as well. Definitely, I believe it definitely captures the mountain range pretty well. The main ridge line up there. And pretty happy with this. Took a lot of time, longer than I thought, but that's because I did a lot of modifications to the original grid that I calculated with my code. Now, one thing, again, I decided to get away from that kind of dithering that I tried to do at the boundary between the medium azure and the medium blue, and then I added a top layer of darker blue, and I think that looks okay. I think it's again, this is kind of stylized and maybe a little bit impressionistic, so having the layers of color there for the sky actually I think kind of works okay. I might have brought the regular blue down a little bit more, but I didn't have enough tiles to really come down a couple more studs. So there we have it, the Snowy Range mosaic, the Snowy Range Mountains in Wyoming. And hope you enjoyed this, if anybody's actually watching. This was a fun little project to put together, and this will be going up on my wall at some point. And I'm sure I'll be doing more mosaics in the future.